today marks 10 years since Windows 8 came out, and it was a pretty interesting time 10 years ago. Not only was the dollar back in 2012 at its weakest ever, compared to now, which is at its strongest in like recent history, but we also got stuff like Gangnam Style and this operating system, as well as Hurricane Sandy, which I'll discuss much later. So why did Microsoft decide to make a new version of Windows that had a lot of mobile device elements in its interface? Well, it's simple. Because the iPad was successful, and as a result, oh wait. Hold on. I'll try doing a screen capture because apparently using the window capture mode does not like. I'll display capture. I actually have 4 display captures already on my OBS. Let's change this to primary monitor, and we'll also get rid of video capture device here. So this is Windows 8.1. Now, on the surface, it looks like any normal operating system with a Windows desktop, right? But this is where things start to go wrong. You click here, and you are taken to this new interface, which is very controversial, by the way, because of the fact that you have this apps menu, and you also have a ton of stuff. Now, Microsoft tried to compete with Apple with the Metro interface, but you know they horribly failed, honestly. Because the fact is, when Windows tablets came out back in 2012, as well as convertible laptops and 2-in-1s, you tried to push this interface as hard as possible, and they even tried developing Metro apps, which later became the universal Windows platform in Windows 10 and Windows 11. So, I was one of the few people when I was in middle school, I knew how to navigate through this interface pretty well. So the apps we got were alarms, calendars, your camera, which I won't be using, desktop, documents, food and drink, games, health and fitness, help and tips, and Internet Explorer, which is now not supported by Microsoft, email, maps, music, OneDrive, OneNote. You have your settings here. Now there are 2 settings menus since Windows 8. You have this Metro settings. You also have the classic control panels. You have people, photos, pictures. Now notice that I deleted news and money because I really don't want to bring up those, like, I don't know. The media kind of has a really negative reputation right now, so from what I'm hearing. So you also have Scan, Skype, Sound Recorder, Sports, Microsoft Store. Actually, it was the Windows Store back then. Travel and Video, but you also have Windows applications down here. So let's start by checking the version. This is actually Windows 8.1, which came out in 2013. Which I've explained a lot of times in my channel before. It was the same year the PS4 and Xbox One came out. And it was also the same year that Cold Steel 1 came out, as well as Frozen. Now, I do have a little bit of sad, like, facts between about Anna's Japanese voice actor, Sayaka Kanda. Almost a year ago, she actually passed away. It was pretty sad, honestly, because she also voiced Yuna in Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, and later Alicization, and also Mana Nagase in Idol Pride. So, yeah. But continuing on, how would you... The File Explorer is not much different either, so you just go up here, and it looks like the one from Windows 7, right? No, actually, this is a little bit improved over Windows 7. Because now it's a ribbon interface and it's more efficient. Now, let's go to... Now they have your folders, like, at quick access. So you could go desktop, look at your files you place in the desktop, documents, anything you place in documents, downloads, anything you downloaded from the internet, music, any music you downloaded from the internet, or ripped from a CD back then, pictures, where you store all your pictures and stuff. Now, why is there a picture called Sandy on my desktop? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Because just 3 days after the release of Windows 8.1, Hurricane Sandy has devastated many parts of the New Jersey coast and New York City. This is a photo that was taken back in the day. The Holland Tunnel was flooded. Now, this photo is copyrighted, but since I'm doing a little bit of news coverage here, I really hope my use gets protected under fair use. But, and even 10 years later, the government still doesn't know how to build new tunnels underneath the Hudson River. They keep saying it's urgent, yet they take no action. Okay. And yeah, Halloween was delayed and stuff, and you know, this is when people in New Jersey start to become aware that hurricanes are a real threat. Now, like when I was younger, I thought it was limited to Florida, but when it hit New Jersey, my God, it was bad. Well, I don't live in a coastal area, thankfully, so okay, enough about this. Now, on the same day Windows 8 came out, I was at a school dance, like my first school dance, and I was so excited because not only was I able to go to a school dance for the first time, but also because Windows 8 came out, and I was really excited. So naturally, I do what I didn't know was wrong, and I actually started filming videos of the school dance, but eventually the principal found out and I had to delete it. So, yeah. And I also did a science fair project regarding Windows 8, like how long it did it take to start up on several virtualizer hypervisors on Mac OS. Now, to only one hypervisor can still run Windows on M1 Macs and M2 Macs. And that would be Parallels Desktop. Now let's check my viewership. My viewership... maybe I'll just cut the frames later. But the thing is, we're just gonna set the wallpaper. Now that changes the screen resolution, so we don't need this. We want to change this to a custom picture. That's solid colors. Let's change pictures. There. Yup. I'm not sure why I even have this set as my profile picture, but this was edited in Photoshop 2015 after looking at the information and stuff. Sorry. So Now let's just explore other parts of the operating system. Let's start with Internet Explorer, a now deprecated browser that you could use to read all that stuff. They keep talking about Microsoft Edge and stuff, but let's go to google.com. Now they keep saying recommend Chrome and all that stuff to switch between apps and move here, and then you could also go here. MSN is actually a news aggregator, but the news has been like a source of division in this country. And some people are even talking about civil war, too. Compound this with the war in Ukraine. I'm sorry I had to bring this up like almost every stream now, but it's just that the fire has been burning like much hotter and much more intense than before. Oh great. I might have to take a delivery today. Nah, I don't think I need to take a delivery today. But you get the idea. You have this browser. It's a full screen browser optimized for tablets. And it looks like a mess, honestly. How are you supposed to get back to the to the home menu? I mean the start menu. Just press the Windows key or something. Now, that's enough with the internet browser. You also have Skype too, which no one freaking uses anymore thanks to Zoom and Discord and all that stuff. You could also look at photos too, which will scan your pictures folder, and it will give you a full screen view of any picture you like. So if you want to get more info, I don't think you could get info here. If you right clicked, it wouldn't work, so just go back to the start menu. And we also have a mapping application, which I'll close out right away because I really do not want to dox my location. You also have the Windows Store, which is probably not supported anymore. It might fail to load because this is how you got new apps, new Metro apps to get through the Microsoft Store, but I guess this is not working anymore. So here's Hurricane Sandy. Again, here's the photos. You could choose people, mail, Internet Explorer, games, which are not really games. Like, if you want to see a better implementation of the games thing in Windows 8, Windows 10 actually has an Xbox app that delivers games. And now that I'm an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, I play 3 games in particular have piqued my interest to stay subscribed to Game Pass. Persona 5 Royal, which I apologize for not covering because I made a personal contract with Igor, and he said that I should not be discussing anything inside the game in the real world. Number 2 would be Taiko no Tatsujin, which is the first official PC version of Taiko no Tatsujin to come out. And the last one would be Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. They're all included with Game Pass, just saying. So now you also have OneDrive and OneNote and all that stuff. Let's open up OneNote. Your notes sync to the cloud. Each app separately. But you need a Microsoft account, so a lot of these apps require a Microsoft account. And in Windows 11, it's actually mandatory to have a Microsoft account because if you don't have a Microsoft account, then you can't even set up your computer. Now, there are workarounds for this, but unfortunately, Microsoft could just patch them out at any time. Okay. Now, in middle school, I use this a lot for schoolwork. Even though I was a Mac user, I still ran a Windows 8 VM for certain applications and stuff. And I continued using it well until Windows 10 came out. At that point, I upgraded all my computers to Windows 10 using the free upgrade stuff. Oh, by the way, if you want to fix the interface, it is possible to do that. All you need to do is download some third-party applications, which I won't be covering this stream. And even though Windows 8 was the most stable OS that came out, most stable version of Windows that I used in my experience, Windows 10 actually fixed a lot of problems with Windows 8, but it also introduced a ton of new ones when it came out back in 2015. And Windows 11 is just a reskin of Windows 10, but with more stringent hardware requirements and the requirement to use a Microsoft account. So, with that being said, I do feel sorry for the victims of Hurricane Sandy. It was not meant to insult the victims. It was meant to insult the government's incompetence with rebuilding after Hurricane Sandy, even a decade later. Alright, with that being said, there's one more thing I like to try in Windows 8. There's some new options in Windows 8 as well, like, if you open up the control panel, there's something that wasn't in Windows 7. And that would be, new power options. So now you could run fast startup on here, but the thing is, I chose not to use fast startup because it is not reliable at all. So, plus, not everything works right now. So here's the, in the RTM Windows 8, there's no Windows button, so you had to always press the start key to get into the start menu. Yeah, that kind of sucked. So, we can also go to the music app, which Xbox Music is actually no longer a thing. Plus, the music industry has changed a lot for the worse in recent years, especially the Western music industry. The Japanese music industry has actually expanded, which meant more people want to start listening to Japanese music and Korean music when the K-pop music market expanded as well. And now Blackpink is going to host a new concert in Newark, which is just outside New York City, and it also has a international airport as well. So, yeah. What else can we cover? Windows Store doesn't work. OneNote requires Microsoft account. You have a reading list, food and drink, health and fitness. And there's also screen tearing because VMware's driver is so terrible. You have travel too, which we couldn't do much during the COVID pandemic. But another reminder that Japan's borders have already reopened. So if you're planning to go to Japan in the future, then you can book your trip now. You also have video, which is not any streaming stuff. So you also have steps recorder, fax and scan. A lot of stuff you had from Windows 7, except the games. Return to Windows 8. You also have a math input panel, a notepad as well. Yeah, a lot of these apps were maintained in Windows 10, but a lot of them were later integrated into the UWP interface, which is really buggy. It doesn't play well with some applications. Another new feature with Windows 8. I'm gonna change the theme back to Windows because for disaster of an operating system that that no one upgraded to except very select enterprises, I should say. A lot of Japanese enterprises have actually upgraded to Windows 10, Windows 8.1 back in the day, or they bought new hardware with Windows 8.1. Like, I wanted to go to Japan, like, back in 2013, but I didn't have the money nor the language skills. So, in 2017, I actually went to Japan for the first time. I returned to Japan in 2018, and then went one more time in 2019 before COVID. So, but all I gotta say is, with the fact that I don't really want to remember anything from middle school, but stays in my mind way too much, I guess I'll have to end the stream here. This is Lucas Notch. I'm out.